my fellow readers. In this video I'm going to be talking about the graphic novel Hooky. I picked this up kind of on a whim because I thought the art looked really cute and I like stories about witches and wizards. I'm just as basic as that. Like I like stories with witches and wizards. I like witches, like Witch Academy settings as well. So in this lovely little tale, the main characters are two 12-year-old twin witches. I mean, they use kind of the words interchangeably because they'll say witches and they'll say like wizards. Then it doesn't seem like it's gender-based, so I don't know. I might just call them witches to make it easy. So these are 12-year-old sibling witches, Danny and Dorian, and as the story begins, they are late for school. Danny is flying on her broom. I can't remember if Dorian was trying to fly, whichever, but they end up missing the bus, and so missing their transportation to school. And so instead of just turning around and going back home, I think because they think their parents will be really angry, they decide to try to find an educator on their own. That sounds like really weird. And they end up going to their Aunt Hilda's place. And just things don't work out so well there. Like, she kind of mistreats them and is also very demanding. Like, not in a good way, but like she wants them to like clean everything and just doesn't treat them right. And then at one point they have to, I can't remember, she has to go to a council meeting or something, and they follow along and they get into trouble. And the biggest offense is that Dorian like tries to take a dragon's egg. He's really into that dragon egg and he tries to take it, and they were already kind of on thin ice before that, and then when he does that, like they start like going after them, and the two flee using Danny's broom, but then Danny's broom breaks and they fall, and actually I think it just does a cut to, and they're suddenly on like a train traveling further, and they end up in this little town where they are taken in by the Master Pendragon. And Master Pendragon, well, I think he tells them he wants to keep them safe, and he tells them about how there's a council of bad witches, and the bad witches have been like hunting down and killing humans, kind of as a way to like get revenge, because there's been like this tension between humans and witches. They have like a basic truce, but essentially it's where like witches don't really have any power anymore, or they shouldn't be doing this and that, and the humans have the overall rule. But there is a council that doesn't like that current standing, and they want to take power. So Master Pendragon essentially wants them to stay with him, and he will help to train them so that they can fight against this dark group. Which is all seems well and good, right? So some just fun things to point out before I go any further is, as it seems, Danny is really good at flying, but doesn't seem to be good at any other magic. Like every time she tries to do something, it like backfires and goes wrong. Dorian, on the other hand, seems really competent at most spells and magic, but he is not good at flying, like, at all. He's not a good flyer. So that just sets up this fun dynamic between the twins, and I guess like working together, they're kind of make up for each other's losses. But as you will with stories such as this, we do get some other characters that come into play. There's a boy that Danny kind of has a crush on. But I think she's worried that he won't like her because she's a magic user. There's Master Pendragon's ward, who really wants to be good at magic but has no magical ability. He's very major to the story, like very major. And then we end up running into this spoiled princess, who's actually not that spoiled. She's really fun. She wants to be like a hero in her own right. She doesn't want to be like pigeonholed, and she's really fun. So, you know, as the story progresses, you get more of this dynamic and interaction between other characters, and there's hijinks and mishaps with the magic, but also this darker story that gets more and more revealed. And, yeah, so there, we do find out by the end of this volume that there is like a dark wizard, or there's a prophecy about this dark witch king? Yeah, well, I guess it doesn't have to be dark. But there's this belief about this king of the witches that will rise up and will have the ability to, like, give the power back to the witches, essentially. So the bad witches group thinks that this king of the witches will get retribution for them, so that what they're doing in harming the humans is justified, and it's what this king will want, because the king's gonna come and they're gonna take over from the humans. So meanwhile, the witches that don't want to do that kind of stuff are trying to stop that from happening, and, you know, I guess also stop this potential king of the witches. And it is also revealed that they believe that the king of the witches is one of the twins, and that they will have this great power. So Master Pendragon is actually being their teacher to try to prevent that from happening, whereas the aunt and some other family members are trying to do the opposite. They want them to turn bad and unleash their dark power. So it's very interesting. That's about where it leaves off, because there's more to the story. This was originally published on Webtoon, so it can be read there. I believe there's a number of chapters. I don't think it's as long as the book, but there's a number of chapters that are free to read, and then I believe you get like 2 chapters a day that become free, like as you read. I didn't progress to see what happens beyond this, because I'm kind of hoping that they'll release a volume 2 of this, because then I'd kind of like to just continue reading as I have been. But I have no problems with Webtoon, so I mean, if it doesn't look like volume 2 is going to be published, or published anytime soon, then I might just, you know, hop over to reading it on Webtoon, because I would like to see what happens next. And yeah, there's a bunch I did not reveal about what happens in here, so if you're worried that I spoiled everything, I did not. Plus, you get to understand it better than my crazy trying to paraphrase it. But it's interesting. I liked seeing all the different people and characters and what was going to happen. I look forward to seeing if, if Danny becomes any better at using her power, like with controlled and purpose. Like, controlled purpose would be good. And if Dorian becomes better at flying. That's to put it simply, because I'd also like to see how dark it gets. I do think this will probably be listed as middle grade, but it is older middle grade, because there is a lot of dark themes and topics that, they should be prepared for. And of course, anybody older than middle grade readers can also enjoy it. It's very good. Nice fantasy. So, that is it for this video. Give Hooky a chance if you enjoy graphic novels about witches and wizards, or if it in any way sounded interesting. It's got gorgeous art as well. Like, the coloring is beautiful. The character designs are nice. I would recommend it. And that is it for this video. Until next time, bye.